How you doing, Chuck?
Hey, doing good. How about you, Tyler?
Say that one more time. I'm gonna make sure my
I said I'm
volume.
doing good. How about yourself?
Okay, I want to make sure I heard you. Oh, I can't complain. I'm doing well.
I've heard so many good things about you from Joe that just had to see what you have to offer today.
No, I appreciate you for coming. Today, I would say out of all the days, it's probably gonna be kind of like I don't want to say less in exciting or intensive, but my goal really for like everyday building is to actually have people be interactive and if they actually pay for Claude and don't use Claude Code, actually do things in steps. So, starting off with just kind of the basic normal stuff,
Yeah, see now me.
normalize that, get to websites and apps and vibe coding and all those other
Cool.
things.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is because I've been doing AI for a while, and I've been more in the ChatGPT world and stuff. And I've used Claude, but I just recently purchased it for the
Okay,
sake of looking at Claude Code. I haven't looked at Claude
got
Code.
you.
I use a lot of the other Vibe tools. I use Famous and Bubble and Bolt and so many of the others, but I haven't really used Claude Code. See so much about it, and very curious to see what you're doing with it. And
Got you. Yeah, yeah. I'll foreshadow and probably hint and show some of like the other things. I have something running right now that should not be running that I should have stopped, but that's how it goes sometimes in the
yep, exactly.
background.
I know, I know.
How you doing, Adrian?
Good morning. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right.
How are you?
I'm waking up.
Good
It's
morning.
4 a.m. It's 4 a.m. over here in Japan. So,
Oh
you
wow.
know,
Well, thank you for showing up.
yeah,
How,
no, I'm excited. I'm excited about the whole series. So, yeah, let's get to it.
yeah, I was just telling Chuck here, my goal is really for people that like Chuck here has just recently purchased Claude, so he hasn't used Claude Code. So to be really kind of more interactive, kind of start off from the basic and throughout the series, go
Yeah.
into other things such as websites and vibe coding and all those things like that and all the other fun stuff. But I kind of believe that if you kind of don't really just understand the basics, even if it's something as simple as just organizing files and playing around and looking at stuff, other things might become a little convoluted down the line.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that things are changing so fast that if you don't get like comfortable with the tools and understand the basics, you will quickly be overwhelmed. And so yeah, I think you got the right approach. Um, the whole series, the way you set it up, 30 days, that's man, very aggressive. I love it. But it covers all the things that everybody kind of wants to do, right? But you start with the simple things with that, instead of like jumping at the deep side of the pool and being like, overwhelmed.
Right, right. No, of course. Well, thank you, Agent. I appreciate you being here. Scott, Adam, and Sarah, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you
Good morning for
for
me.
joining. Good morning, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, still technically morning here.
How about you, Sarah?
I am on the Pacific Coast, so morning for me as well.
Got you. Thank you guys for joining. Yes, I'll kind of get started. We're kind of some people will be joining. My name is Tylen. I'm also known as Chowder. I'm a developer. If you're here, you probably see me in multiple communities that I'm in. I have multiple friends or certain communities that I manage, or I might have met you at an AI event recently, such as HeyGen or anything else. Um, I've been a developer for 17 years. Mainly what I do is build for other agencies and tools for myself. And I used to do it for enterprises as well, but not as much. And lately I've just been getting more into my educational side and just showing how I build as a developer and use tools such as Claude Code and other tools as they kind of bridge into the developer, even though a lot of people are non-technical, which nothing is wrong with that. I do kind of believe some of the content on YouTube is a little bit diluted. It's not hands-on. That's kind of what my goal is here is to kind of be hands-on and interactive and really answer questions and play around with things instead of just kind of talking about concepts. I really want people to walk away saying, okay, I've played with the tool, I've used it, or I've actually sat down and seen other people use it or give ideas of how they've used it and things like that. So I created just this 30 days of building with Claude Code, a lot of things that I do normally or teach clients that pay me for mentorship or other companies that hire me to build certain things for that. So feel free to answer any question. I believe Zoom has a little feature down here, the React, where you can raise your hand. Feel free to raise your hand or put something in the chat. And yeah, it's kind of free for all from there. So I guess my first question to everyone here would be, who doesn't have Claude Code or Claude? Who does not play for Claude?
Yeah, that will be that will be me. I'm still just getting up to speed, so I think I'm just gonna install it really quick and just observe today. I don't have that subscription. I have ChatGPT Plus right now.
Mhm.
So I'm just looking at like, how Claude is fitting into all of this and what are the pros and cons of Claude versus ChatGPT. I see Stephen Pope using it in all of his videos now. So clearly there's a reason for switching over to that. But yeah, I don't have it installed yet on my computer.
Gotcha. And that's fine. So am I assuming everybody else here pays for Claude, uses Claude Desktop more than likely, but hasn't used Claude Code yet?
Yeah, that's the case for me. I love Claude Chat. I just actually downloaded the app so I can access Cowork, but I've not yet used Claude Code, and I'm super excited to do that today.
Okay, sure. Is that the same thing for you as well, Adam or Scott?
Um, Probably, well, this is Adam. I'm probably a little bit different. I've got Cloud Codes down. I've built a few different things in it. I'm actually
Mhm.
looking at um, more of the agentic orchestration level. So maybe I'm a little bit more advanced for the beginning, but what I liked, uh, Tylen, about you putting it out is just forcing me to focus at 11 a.m. my time daily for the next 30 days is actually going to be, that's the there's more value to me of just plugging in and getting the discipline of doing it versus just wandering around the world trying to see, can I develop a web scraper? Can I develop a recipe organizer? Like, I want to get a little bit more focused. So I appreciate you taking that
Got you.
step and putting that
No
out there.
problem. Thank you. I wasn't even kind of thinking of it about it like that. That's a good perspective right there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
So,
share my screen.
Tylen, just I told you, but for everybody else, I just bought Claude, never used Claude Code, and so I'm just curious about the direction and so.
Got you.
And for
So
my
I am a,
and for
oh, go
myself,
ahead.
I have it. I've just started with Visual Studio, I guess it is, but I don't know what to do after that. I don't know. So that's where I'm at.
That's fine. No worries. Bliss, how you doing? I think Bliss
Was
got
the
Hey,
it.
mission
Bliss.
to get in here, man. Oh wow, I felt like this was made intentionally hard to get into.
I apologize for that, Bliss. I am not an expert at Zoom.
Okay,
I need to turn on the
I'm
auto join
excited.
next time.
I'm excited to be here, man. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Good man. I think I had
Hey,
the same problem as as blessed by the sounds of it. So
I apologize. For anybody else, was
no
it
worries,
super
dude.
hard for you guys to get in here too?
No, I
Just
came in
usually
pretty
like
quick.
it was because the link was in the email,
Hmm.
but which is fine, but like it wasn't in the calendar that booked in. It was like sent you back to register.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
exactly
was
it.
already late. I was already a bit late too, so that was like bing bing.
Okay. I'll pay attention to that next time.
Yeah,
You
I think
guys
it's
didn't
the
miss.
service, Tylen. I don't think it's you per se. I think it's a setting probably in the service you use to broadcast this.
Got you. Okay,
I
I'll
think
double check on
so.
that.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was going in a loop.
Yeah, it's not a Zoom issue. It's something look for me when I reacted to the email confirmation, not the reminder, it then put it in my calendar, but the reminder doesn't have a way to put it in the calendar. And then when it's in the calendar, it doesn't have the join button automatically set in, at least
Mm,
in the Apple calendar, it does have a link.
okay. I think they do kind of favor iCal over everything else, but I'll double check that. I just want
Yeah.
to be sure. Else I have auto join on next time. So you guys didn't miss too much, Bliss and Jeff. I was just going over my background and really the goal of like the next 30 days of using Claude Code. I know some people already use it. There are a lot of people who just bought it or they only use Claude Desktop. They haven't used Claude Code yet. So obviously this first day is kind of very simple, playing around with files, ideas, maybe hearing from other people who have used it. I'll probably go into something myself of something that I actually need to do, which is organizing some things because some other workflows don't work out. But I want everybody to kind of have a hands-on experience with using the platform with any session that you watch or attend, basically. So right now, all I'm doing is going to Claude Code documentation. Two ways I'm going to show you guys how to install this. So when you come to the documentation, there's a two simple commands here for Mac or Windows. You're going to copy these. And for Mac, I believe you're going to go to Spotlight and just type in terminal, and you're going to be able to paste it in there. For Windows, you can right click on your Windows icon, go to terminal. You can paste it here and press enter. And everything should go very fine. For anybody who has problems with that, let me know. I can show another way that you can download it in kind of a trick. And actually, I'll go into that right now, actually, because it'll kind of go into some other things if you're already used to using Claude Desktop. So when you open Claude, and if I'm going too fast, somebody just slow me down. Okay. So in Claude Desktop in your settings, there is something called an extension or connector as you know it. And if you come to browse extensions, there's going to be one specific one that you see here called file system. Oh, okay. Hopefully my computer does not freeze on you guys because Zoom doesn't like me.
Question. Did you say that you're recording this or
I am
can
recording this.
we?
I am
No,
recording
okay.
this.
You'll be sharing that with us because
Yeah,
I
of
don't
course.
know. Okay. Thank you.
So when you click on extensions, you probably should see the first one here. I think it's on Mac and Windows. It'll say file system. And this is kind of a little trick. This file system actually operates kind of the same way that Claude Code does, which is a CLI tool. That basically means it has all the access that you would have access to when you log in as a user on whatever device. So you can actually install this. And if you have problems with that earlier command in your terminal, we can just, I'll walk through that. If any, did anybody have problems with that prompted, or I mean that command?
So can I just ask a question? Once you do that command inside the Windows command prompt and you paste it in, do you need to do that every time to access the portal, or once you do
No.
it, then
Once you do
okay.
it, it's installed one time and you never have to do it again. And they kind of have a default settings like an auto update that I'll show that a little bit later that kind of runs in the background to auto update the Claude Code itself. And as a matter of fact, what I'll do is I already have it installed, but just to show you guys what might happen, or what it just looks like when you do post this inside of here. And for people who don't play around in this scary thing in the terminal, which I'll be showing for a little bit, see it's going through setting up Claude Code, even though I already have it set up. So I'll kind of go through this walkthrough. Whenever you press a command and you press enter and nothing happens, that means something happened is actually happening in the background. Unless it actually gives you an error, you're all good to go. So is everybody all good? Everybody have it installed now? Anybody have any problems?
Quick question on what we put for the directory path. Once we install file system, or are you gonna talk to
Yeah,
us about that in a sec?
yeah, I got you right now. Are you on Windows or are you on Mac?
Mac.
Ooh, okay, Mac. Let me do this really quick because I don't know. Well, I can show you. This might be easy, but I don't know what the how paths normally look. So it's not that different, but if you let me do this because this should be the same command.
I'm on a Mac.
If you type in who am I and is it did I type that wrong? Yeah, I did. Yeah, usually if you type in who am I, this would be like your path. And it's really so let me do this. I'm gonna copy this exactly because this might help. I don't know what yours is exactly. How can I go to the chat on here again? It always is weird when it disappears. And Bliss, I'll get to you right now. How would it let me go to the slow moment? So can you see that, Miss Sarah?
Yeah.
So do you know what your kind of like name is in your terminal? Have you ever seen that before? Because all you're gonna do is just change that to what your name is.
Great.
That's all these paths are right here. And to kind of go in detail of why I have so many, you really don't need so many. I'm just kind of being specific in some of these. For
Hmm.
example, this directory here is my entire like laptop in general.
Hmm.
These ones is just like the download folder in general, if that makes sense. Paths are just folders, directories, just for the terminology so people don't get confused.
Hmm.
Are you able to see yours?
Yeah, mine doesn't have like the C colon backslash users. It's just my username. But
Jeff, do you know how to pull yours up and paste it so it can be that one in Mac? If not, I can just ask Claude to give me one right now. But a Mac user might be easier.
What do you need?
You know how to pull up your actual path for what it looks like in Mac? Do you
Yeah,
know what
but I
I'm
don't
referring
know.
to?
I know how to. Yeah, but I don't know to be honest, I don't know what I'm looking up because I
No
had to
worries.
run out, let the dog out quick. But if you,
I'm
It's
actually
fine.
I'm using ChatGPT real quick to see if I can
It's
figure
good.
it out.
Do you understand kind of what I'm saying though? You would just ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT, what is the path, or how can I find the path of my Mac?
Okay, so
Uh,
in Bash, I just do echo $path.
there you go.
So I'm gonna do that. And I can paste that into the chat if that's helpful for anybody else.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
also
Mike.
just do env to find your whole environment, and that gives a path also.
Thank you, Chuck. Bliss,
Yeah, I just copied the error that I got when I put it in the terminal.
are you on a Windows or are you on a
Windows.
you're on a Windows? Do
Yeah.
you
I just copied the Windows command. Oh wait, did I copy the Windows PowerShell? Which one do we put? The Windows command or the Windows CMD? Okay, okay. Maybe that's why I got it.
do you want to try that one and let me know if you got that error still?
Yeah, actually, no, it looks like it's working now. Thank you.
Ah, okay, sweet. That's good. And then we're just waiting on Miss Sarah. Adrian, you're good. Everybody else
That was
good
a
besides
PowerShell,
yourself.
by the way. Yeah.
I'm good too.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So,
So on my end, it looks like it installed. It says installation complete, but it did say that it wants the Git Bash
mhm.
installation, that it requires it. So I'm looking at pulling that down right now.
Okay, like you're asking Claude or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on some computers, like it does it by itself automatically. Because I know when I installed mine, I have already some things. I don't want to be too technical, but it when it asks for a certain path, it just basically means to Bliss's question earlier, whenever this runs, it's gonna always pull from this basically correct directory and not mess up if you ever see anything like that when you're working in a terminal or you download something. For example, you might download a project, vibe code, and it might ask you to download Python. And when you try to use Python, it's going to say, I can't use it because it's on the incorrect path. And the reason I say Python is because Python has so many versions. If you ever do use it, that's usually like a common issue to why someone can't use it. Or for example, you vibe code a project, it requires this version of Python. You do something else for whatever reason that requires another version, the path might conflict, just to kind of get context there. Um, so yeah, you guys do that git command. So what I'm gonna actually do real quick, because I want to give context to like what I want to do, and you guys are probably gonna do the same thing. So I'm not really good at content, I guess, even though I have like a lot of content. And what I mean by content is like things that I share, like PDFs or resources or things that I take from people's LinkedIn posts, or for example, like things from, high level webinars that I seen that, I want to turn into content, or sometimes I can use that to maybe start an idea or vibe code or whatever the case may be. So this is kind of a failed attempt, basically because I'm not using a big enough database, or if you use things like Google Sheet or Airtable, like you can only have so much of a limit of files that you have. Now, like PDFs and everything is great, but when it comes to, let's say, like video or content, you can only do so much, right? So before this workshop, what I did was just download all of these, and then they're just in my download folders. I think I have some duplicates, I have some stuff, but I want to actually organize this later on. So throughout some of the other builds, like when we use Claude Code, we're going to be pulling from there and things are going to be organized and et cetera, et cetera. And we can maybe play around with some other things. Does that make sense? Good context right there. That's good. Okay. So how would I start that off? Everybody, we have Claude Code. So I killed my terminal. I'm going to open up my terminal again. Wrong thing. And normally, actually, as a rule of thumb, usually what we do is two ways. I guess I should explain this. Normally, when you open this up, you're like in the root of your user. Now, like when you're, I'm just gonna say vibe coding as an example, because usually that's what it's used for, the term that I'm gonna explain. Uh, like I have this code folder here. So anytime I work with Claude Code, or anytime I'm not working with Claude Code, I'm actually building something, or I know it's going to go to GitHub or whatever. It's in this folder here, right? I wouldn't put like kind of these documents and what we're doing right here. So to give an example, like if you don't have a folder, we're going to create a new folder, but just to give context, you don't want everything kind of like just open out there, not in a directory. So I'm just gonna use a tool called WhisperFlow here, and I'm just gonna go and say like, hey, I have some downloads. Like, I want to organize this content. Can you look through it? And we'll just kind of go from there. So hey, I just organized and downloaded some PDFs and videos and spreadsheets, and I kind of want to organize this. Can you look in my downloads folder and then just make a folder called content and start organizing it one by PDF or Excel or Word document, and clear up any duplicates as well. So thank you. Oh no, I'm very slow, guys. I did the slow thing. I did not press Claude and I did not start Claude Code. I'm so sorry. And actually, I'm making a grave mistake here because I'm in a terminal and I'm not going to do you guys like that. So I'm going to download a tool called VS Code. The reason I'm going to use VS Code is because it's the most straightforward. But if you use Windsurf, if you use Cursor, you can use either one of those. They're all the same thing as an IDE. And the reason why we're going to use this is so we don't have to be around and play around in this terminal, even though I would like to. And I think it's kind of the same thing. We'll do that a little bit later. So as this downloads, question Bliss, or is that hand still up from last time and I didn't put it down?
No, I was just saying I got that git bash error too, and I didn't understand in your response to the last question about the same subject. What was the solution?
Got you. Did you paste that error inside of in the chat? If you want, I can just put it in Claude, or I can just put it in Claude and we can see what you need to do in order to fix that.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, I guess if
We're
that's a
gonna solve. We're
solution,
gonna
then
solve.
I'll figure
We're
it
gonna
out.
solve. Yeah. Oh, well, I want to make sure you have it because you won't be able to start Claude Code, right? I want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just, I think it wants me to, because I just clicked on that link that it gave me, the git bash, and it probably wants me to, click here to download. Let me download git bash. Maybe that's
Usually,
the
you don't need
solution.
to download anything. Did you just happen to paste the error inside of Claude and just see what it say back? You might already have what you need installed. It just might have ran something wrong.
Yeah, what I run
Um,
into is things like it not updating your environment variables. And so at least I did that on the Mac the first time and it had to resource the path to get into the right bin shells and stuff like that. So it should do it
Mhm.
automatically, but it prompted me through all those errors. So I'm not, but again, I was on Mac and may have acted differently. But I
Yeah,
had
no,
similar errors when I
I
first
know
started.
that path problem. I just don't know what the actual command is by heart to
Okay.
put it in and fix it. Yeah.
so,
So the question I have
Thailand,
for
it
you,
said,
oh, go for this. Sorry,
go on,
Bliss. I
go,
was
Chuck.
just going to say, Tylen, I downloaded the Claude app, and one of the tabs in the app is code. Is that any different than using one of the IDEs, or is the
Correct. So the
visual
difference
code
between
on
that,
Mac?
yeah, the difference between that is when you are on the desktop or web or phone app for Claude and you go into code, you are not actually pulling anything locally from here, right? The CLI has access to all your files and everything here, whereas from code, it's mainly pulling from a GitHub repository that you have like already connected your account. Now, what you can do, I'll probably show an example of this later on as we build. My friend Steven is doing this, but when you're working with Claude, you can put a and in front of whatever you prompt, and it will actually send that to Claude Code on the web, and start a task and start working there. And when it's done, it'll give you like this kind of command that basically you can pull, and then it'll come back, pull locally, and kind of start working back from where it left off.
Oh, I
But
just
there is a
did
difference.
the file system connector within the app, and now I can get my local
Oh, well, if
files.
they might have
Yeah,
done some
they added
updating.
the
Yeah,
connector, and so now I just get direct access to the file code from the GUI, which is
there
nice
you go.
instead of
So
jumping in whatever.
there you go. So I'm wrong. They're always updating some
Awesome.
stuff.
Cool.
Got you. Bliss, where we at?
Do you mind if I quickly show you
Yeah,
what I'm
you want to
looking
share
at
your
here?
screen? Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Screen is good. So this is the error that I saw. So I proceeded to download this, which I just want to make sure because it says if installed but not in path, set
Yeah, so I know
environment.
what it. So just copy that for me, and if you go to Claude or ChatGPT, put that command in. I'm very sure I know what that
Which
is,
one?
and you probably
Like
do
do
need.
this?
Yeah,
You want me to
mhm.
do this?
And yeah, and you can do Control C. By the way, this is how you'll debug for anybody in the terminal.
Wait, I just downloaded the app. I shouldn't install it.
No, you can actually install that. You will need it.
So then the path that I'm going to install this app in, should I just do a default here, program files git, or should I do a
You
different path?
can press next and go through all that, and even if you run the command, you still might get an error because as the gentleman was saying earlier, this is something you kind of manually might need to do and set as environmental variables for the path. So we'll just install Git. And for anybody who doesn't know, if you don't have Git installed right now, it will be something that you do need to install. It's basically a tool that
Should I
manages
do git
everything,
from git bash?
everything recommended in Next, and you're
Oh,
good.
everything recommended. Perfect.
Yeah,
So just go as is, as is.
correct.
Jesus, I've never had an installation with so many options.
Correct. Yeah, Git
Uh,
is a very important tool. Git is basically the free and local version of GitHub. Microsoft owns the
oh,
cloud version of GitHub.
oh, I see.
hmm It's basically for version control and a plethora of other things, but usually we use it for like version control and stuff like that locally on your device. And then you push that right to GitHub in the cloud, which also is synced to your local device. So other people can pull those files and use whatever it
Is
is that you build
is it
in
the
there.
same for Mac?
It is the same for Mac, yes.
Can you just copy the link and pop it in the chat
For GitHub?
for the Git that
Oh, for Git?
whatever
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Git
yeah.
schema?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
This is the one you
because
want?
you're saying you want us to install that on locally, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is something
Yeah,
that we will be we will
yeah,
be using later. Let me
cool.
just find the right one. Thank you for that, Jeff.
And then if we have a Mac, do we type MAC rather than WIN?
I'm putting the website in there right now.
Okay, thanks.
And then, yeah, it'll have all those commands in right now. And then obviously, like, I think a lot of you guys have like my connect some way. You can send me a message. My plan is though, I'll have like a actual video for all of these when we do need to do this.
Do we go launch git bash or do I not launch git bash?
You can just finish and then you can try to run that command again. And then after, if it still gives you the same error, I want you just to take that error and put it inside of like Claude. Because I'm pretty sure I need to go to your path and environmental variables.
What's happening here?
I think you pasted it twice.
Uh,
So you could just close your
doing something.
terminal.
Just setting
Yep,
up
there you
flow.
go. Nope, yep, let's see. And by the way, I put Git inside of the chat for you guys. Yep, so that makes sense. So just copy the setup notes. And the
Sure.
reason I want you to do this is because you guys are probably going to run into this when you download some other things. I just want to have a way of showing you how to walk through that and where you're going to go. So go like to Claude or Chat GPT. It does not matter.
Just here.
And then, yep, you can just paste that there and you can press enter or you can do a shift enter and say, hey, I'm having problems installing Claude Code. This is the error I'm getting. Yep, that's I knew it was going to be that. Okay, so something super technical that hopefully we will never go through again. But for Windows, we go through this a lot. Mac, I think it's way easier for you guys. So you're gonna scroll up. I want anybody to see this. You're just gonna do a command. You're gonna do so you're gonna copy just really quick. You see the first one, copy the bottom part, the SYS, make it really easy. hmm And then you're gonna do the Windows R. Mm-mm. Windows R.
Windows are.
hmm
Or
Windows are.
you can be a pirate and go, ah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're gonna go to is it advanced? Yep, advanced. And then we have this is gonna be your user variables. So at the bottom, so really quick, I'm sorry because I want to go too fast. Yeah, environmental variables, correct. So this is why I want to walk through this. This is not what I planned for, but it's actually good because this is how whenever you have path problems, this is what you need to come and do, and it will be very confusing, right? So it's saying, hey, we're in the user variables are at the top, and your system variables are at the bottom. So it's saying, hey, add a new path, but before we do that, you can click on like Claude. You can close like they'll disappear. I want you to copy number 4. You following me, Bliss? So if you click on the background, like click on Claude, yeah, I want you to copy that. And then we're going to open that back up. And it's saying we need to click new under user, which is at the top, correct? No, that's wrong. Press cancel really quick. Advanced.
New.
Press edit. Sorry, not new.
Edit on which one? On OneDrive?
On path. Sorry about that.
In path.
Yeah. Now you're gonna press new. hmm Then you paste, and then you press OK, and then OK at the bottom. And then you can press
Okay,
OK
yeah.
there. Yeah. And then the terminal that you have, you need to close it. And then you're gonna run that same Claude Code command again. Nope, nope, you cannot run it in the same terminal. Yeah, you're gonna close it, open it again. So that was a lesson on path, which is very painful in Windows, as everyone can see. So not that command, the command from, yeah, Claude Code on the Claude Code page. And you should be good. There we go. You're all good to go. So we're all on the same page. I will share my screen again. You all good, Bliss?
Thank you.
No
Yes,
problem.
sir.
So we're back here and my terminal closed. Oh no, I was opening VS Code for you guys. Everybody have an IDE open? Yes? I'm taking that as a yes. So
It's the
uh,
Visual Studio Code you said? The
yeah,
ID.
yeah. You can use any one. They're all the same, but I'm just going with Visual Studio Code to make it simple and easy. We all good? All right. So I'm gonna maximize this. And when you first open this, you're gonna see a whole grip of malarkey. You can close that. I think it says like mark is done. And what we're gonna actually do is cheat here. So I'm gonna open a folder and it um I believe for Mac it's gonna open a little bit different, but it's gonna be like the same concept. And if this doesn't make sense, stop me before I go. I've opened my folder, right? And it's opening like all of my directories. If you don't have a folder to work in, you can right click in like an open space and go to new, and you'll be able to make a new folder. Simple. So I'm going to just name this content. And that's it. Click on that folder. Now I've now made a new folder. I've cheated, right? Not cheated, but made a new folder. And then we're only working in this blank folder. Everybody following me? Are y'all good? Okay. So to go ahead, Adrian.
So I got a quick question for you. One of the videos, Stephen was saying that Claude Code worked well in Visual Studio, but then he noticed there was like huge delays, and that's why he's working in a terminal. Has that been resolved, or is that still happening? And
I'm not sure because I haven't used the extension in a while,
Mhm.
but right now I am going to show both ways.
Gotcha. All
Mhm.
right, thanks.
No problem. So the original way,
Actually, I did fall behind. I didn't get to the new folder. If you
oh,
could show it
Scott.
one more time, yeah, please.
Okay, no problem. Do you have your Visual Studio Code open? Is it blank?
I do. Yeah, it's
Okay,
blank.
so if you go to open folder, you're on Mac, right? You're on Mac, Scott.
Yes.
I don't know. I know it's like drop down or something, right? But I think the logic is the same. Like when you open it, you're like in all of your directory. You're just like in your user folder,
Yeah.
right? You should be able to right click, and there should be some option to create a new folder.
I've
You're just
ed
gonna create a
yeah. I've editors, but not folder.
What I did, Scott, is I just created a new folder on my desktop. I called it Claude Code, and then I hit Command O, and I could easily access that new folder from Visual Studio Code from there.
Okay.
There we go. Scott, if you have a problem, let us know. Thank you for that. That's the one good thing that some Mac users are in here because I would not know how to say some of those commands. So we're in here, and then so two ways, right? The terminal, I just want to say, is all the same thing. In my experience, I did use the extension heavy because I was kind of just following people, even though I'm not scared of the terminal. I actually like the terminal better. And to be honest, I don't really see any difference in like what they provide, even visually. That could just be me. But the normal way you would pull up that terminal. That's not what I was trying to do. I was really trying to move this down. Thank you. Is up here at the top, you're gonna have terminal. And this is gonna open down here at the bottom. And it's the same thing, just like kind of when you pull up your terminal. I'm in my user, right? Because I'm logged in, ham chowder, and then I'm in my content folder, right? So I do the same thing. I do Claude, and then Claude Code would start up. And I have it here in my terminal. It asks me, do I trust this folder? Bam, Claude Code is started. If you've never ran Claude Code, it will ask you for some settings, which has to do with like colors and things like that, super default. Now, what Adrian was talking about earlier, uh, okay, must be an update or something like that. Let me close this. Is when you click this little box right here to the left that says extensions, we have the Claude Code extension here that you can see. And also something, I don't know if it's going to happen. You see this, like the extension is here, right? But what might happen when you download this extension? You see how like I clicked out of it, it's not here. Sometimes it won't be loaded up. So if you do go to choose this extension and you don't see it here, just come here to extensions and click on it, and they'll always pop up. And then you can just click on it. And what that will do will open up. I'm already logged in, so it will just open up this chat here. All right, let me kind of pull this down. And slash, if you don't know, is how you have all the commands. Now, I do feel like this is kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? They took away like a lot of the features because, oh no, let me take it back. I could be wrong. I think a lot of the commands are here, but I feel like whenever I am in this terminal, and I do my slash commands, and it might be because I have like plugins and other things installed here that we'll talk about later. I just feel like it's more options and stuff like that. But those are the two ways to use Claude Code in an IDE. Anybody have any questions on that? Does anybody mind if I use the terminal and not use the extension? If you guys want me to use the extension, I'll use the extension.
I just got the thing installed. How do I get caught in the VS Studio or the VS whatever?
When you see this little box right here to the left that says extensions,
Oh, okay.
when you click on this
Yeah.
and then you come here and you type in Claude, it should be one of the first ones that pop up. Claude for VS Code, and it'll have about like 3 million downloads.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Cloud for VS Code, Anthropic install, I
You
presume.
got that? Okay. And let me know. I won't proceed until you get it installed. When you ask you to sign in, you're gonna pick the OAuth one, and it'll do the process of going to the next screen, you logging in, and you'll be all good.
By the way, is Christopher here? I just want to ask because this is asking me if I trust this.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we trust.
it'll always ask you that. Now, granted, really quick, whenever you are, because I'll get into this in the future, when you download repos, repositories of code that other people have built, I don't know what happens when you press no. I don't know if it like doesn't let you work in it, doesn't have restrictions, what the case may be. Of course, you can download it, and before you install any packages, which we'll get into in a later session, you can just have Claude Code run through it and see what's there if that is a concern with security. But just in
Okay.
general, I don't know if you were looking when even when you make a blank folder, it'll and nothing's in there, it'll ask you, do you want to trust this folder? It's kind of a default thing.
Okay, installed.
You're all good? Sweet.
It
So,
installed, yeah. So it should
how
be.
many people are using the extension and not the terminal? Jeff, Bliss, Sarah, are you using the extension as well?
I'm trying to get the terminal set up. I'm using the extension if I can't get it figured out. I'm asking ChatGPT to help me right now.
What problems are you having in the terminal?
I can't get it to show up in my Visual Studio Code, and I even
At the
clicked the
top,
box in settings so that it would use the terminal, but it's still not showing up.
you want to share your screen with me real quick?
Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
I am. I know that when you're on this, like when you hover at the top, you don't, it doesn't like this, the thing doesn't pop up. No.
No, that's why I've been a little lost.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what it might be? I don't think you're in a folder. That's why.
Where would I go
No,
to?
no, you're right. You said you named this Claude Code. That like that's the one
Yeah.
you wanted it to be in. Okay, never mind. So when you at the top, do you see that like folder icon? Click that for me. Yeah, that one right to the left. Yeah, click that. I'm just trying to see what would activate that. Oh, you know what? I know a trick really quick. Give me one moment. Let me see what the equivalent to that is. Control Shift like apostrophe. What would that be for you?
I did
Command Shift.
Command Shift apostrophe. It's usually Command for Mac. That didn't work, so
Uh,
I'm gonna try.
you know what it is? It's Control Shift plus apostrophe.
Okay. That didn't work, so I'm gonna try Command Shift plus apostrophe. There we go. Oh, that just made it zoomed in.
That's funny. There's a way to do it. I'm just trying to figure out because you're in that folder.
Yeah, it's weird.
So for me, when I want to go to the terminal, up on top, you've got that view where you have the
Yeah.
left panel. But if you click
Uh-huh.
the one with the bottom panel,
The bottom panel.
so
Yeah, it's
it's
not even showing
disappeared.
right there, actually.
Actually, scroll down. There it is. So up on the go to the right, go right.
Oh, there we go.
Aha, you see where it says terminal right there? There you
Yeah,
go.
that's
Sweet.
what I needed. Okay.
I wonder why that wasn't showing up. That was funny.
Yeah,
All right.
problems.
It's a
Sweet.
Interesting.
Microsoft product. It's a feature. You got to hunt for it.
Okay, cool. So I'm good. I don't need to share anymore.
Okay, sweet. No problem. Let me get back to sharing my screen if I can find Zoom. Is it like super disappearing? Zoom always does this to me. Okay, one moment. Do. Okay, share. And we're back. All right, so I'm in my VS Code. And I'm going to be running this in here. But I'm going to do the same command. Oh, so really quick. If you don't have this tool installed, it's an amazing tool. I will put a code in here for a free month. WhisperFlow is an amazing tool. To be honest, I really do not type when I'm doing anything. Even before I found WhisperFlow, I was not doing that either. But yeah, it's an amazing tool. Basically, you hold two buttons and you just talk on the screen, and it's that simple. So let me share that with you guys. I highly encourage that it be used throughout.
Is there
It's
like Thailand voice?
No, there's not. Unfortunately, they don't have any like voice stuff coming back. Just a very good dictation tool that has some very cool features just besides like the dictation as well. But if you don't wonder why I'm not typing and doing all that stuff, it's because I'm using WhisperFlow right now. So I'm going to say that same thing. Um, and I'm going a lot of step by step here because my Claude Code is kind of like already set up with certain things. So feel free to ask me uh, about that, even though I might go further into it later on. And before I start with that, Adrian, go ahead.
Just a quick question. WhisperFlow, is there something that you can run locally? Because it seems like that one is going to be still using like the cloud.
You know what? I'm not sure, but I will look. Besides that, to be honest,
WhisperFlow allows you to download locally. So you can download a couple models to your
oh,
Oh,
server or to your computer, and then it won't go to the cloud.
sweet.
there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you.
I'm a subscriber, so it's good.
Oh, there
It's
you.
a good tool.
Oh, so is it? I think that's maybe only like a paid feature, huh?
It is a paid feature, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't paid for it yet, so I don't know. Yeah, before that, I just used to use the regular dictation like on my laptop, but it is good. I will be paying for it very soon. Um, so really quick, if you do notice why this is already in plan mode, which if you started your Claude Code, it's not in plan mode. It's because that's just like a default setting that I already have. And for example, we won't get into it as much, but feel free to ask me a question. I have MCPs already uh, that already start up every time I start Claude Code. So I need to turn that off. As you can see, 7 MCPs turned off. The reason that is because when you press slash and type in context, I have a lot of things here, but basically, these are how your conversations are going to start, right? We all know that large language models have context. Usually, the best route is whenever this context gets filled up, you clear this conversation or start another conversation. Some people say not even when this gets filled up, when you like finish a feature or Claude does whatever it is you requested it to do, that you start a new one. I'm not really here to say which one is the best. I have some conversations that when this context is full, it will do something called compact, which is make the conversation smaller. Really just depends on what I'm doing. Now, what a lot of people don't say about this is right now, you'll notice that this context is very small. Later on, if you come to other builds or watch the recordings, you'll see that I have projects and the context will start off much larger. For example, if I had the MCPs turned on, the context would be much longer. Skills take up context, MCPs take up context. A lot of these things take up context, right? So every time I start this project, I'm turning off MCPs, even though I have it set to be on every project, right now I'm not working on Superbase, right? Right now I'm not working on Airtable or other tools that I commonly use, which would be the reason why whenever I start Claude Code, they're available to me. Any questions on that? Got you. Okay. So uh, if you want to get to plan mode and change this, it's just shift and tab. So there's like three modes. There's this regular mode, there's this edit mode, there's this plan mode. I heavily suggest you always have on plan mode. It does wonders. Sometimes you don't need plan mode. How that's determined is, people might say different things. So let's get started. I have some files inside of my download folder that I want you to take a look at. I want them to be put inside of this folder, but I want it to be organized. I'm thinking about making some content from all of these things, or maybe dashboards later to display as proof of concepts. Please go through them. Let me know how many duplicates I have. And I want it to be arranged by like PDFs and Excel sheets and et cetera, et cetera. So WhisperFlow picks that up pretty well. That is going to be doing that there. And there you guys go. I want you guys to do the same thing. Whatever ideas you guys have some files that you wanted to start looking through to start, basically kind of the same thing. I know a lot of people have some spreadsheets that you want to maybe start getting organized, right? A lot of people maybe have some PDFs that you want to turn into content or use like with a tool like Gamma, or have a workshop with later on, or maybe you just want to, make a skill, which we'll talk about later, for all of the, whatever type of file that you normally have. We can, transform that some way. Let's probably show an example of it in a bit. So right now it's running what are called bash commands, right? And it's kind of, and before I actually say anything, another thing I want to touch on here is why I think like building hands-on is really good with Claude Code. Obviously, the code part is like deters people. I think as a developer, this is like one of the best tools that I've ever used in my like 10 years recently of development, that bridges the gap between like being a technical person. I do believe that there are things that you should know that we're going to go through, such as, for example, why you need Git, why that's important and why GitHub is important, that tie in to using that. But even with no knowledge of that, or little knowledge, it already knows that, and it does it very good. And being able to have access to download things and do things is just very cool. So right now, that's all it's doing. It's searching through. You'll be able to see, when there's an error or something like that. But just kind of pay attention, and you'll kind of see, like, right now, it's in that downloads for action. And what you can do, you'll see Control O. So I can make this bigger and
I have
actually
some
kind of.
files in my download folder that I want to take a look at. I want them to be put inside of.
I was gonna say, I think Sky is.
Oh, sorry about that.
No,
I
you're
didn't
good.
realize it was on there. I was using my WhisperFlow.
No, you're all good. So when this is running sometimes, and I think you can do it all the time, but usually like when a lot of things are going on, you can press Control O to make this bigger, and you can kind of see how what's happening in the background. It's thinking, says look at the files in the download folder, organize them into this, manage the file by PDF, Excel, Sheets. I'm in plan mode, da 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 da, and it's, doing whatever it is. Right. And to be honest, it didn't need to create a plan for this. It could have just started easily grabbing those and putting those somewhere. But I do want to get you used to using plan mode, because you will see a significant difference when you don't use plan mode sometimes, and when you do, and depending on like what it's on and like what type of response you get back is very intriguing sometimes. Any questions so far? Now, what else I would like to say, and I would say this is kind of early with doing some things, and I'm going to try to do this like in real time. But one habit I want you guys to get good at, and somebody might have it right now, and if you do, please come off the mic and say it, and I'll try to use that as an example. You're going to find yourself using Claude Code a lot, and you're going to be in a situation like this. What I mean in a situation like this is like you're waiting for it to do something. If you have another idea or something you want to start working on that's in this realm, I'm not going to say if it's out of this realm, I'm just going to use in this realm. Well, what you can do is open up another terminal, right? And for the extension users, you can press the extension again. You can type in Claude, right? And you can have another terminal session with Claude in this same folder. Now, that's not like a different agent. It's literally just a different Claude session. Now, if I did say a command or did spawn agents, I could have agents running in parallel in both sessions. And I believe they can even see what other files one is editing and other things like that. I do want to say that kind of early. Right now, I might not do it as much, but other times you will see me do that. For example, like when I have a build on making a website, I'll have it doing something here, and I might want to be working on designs or other things like that. And I'll already be doing some things in a different terminal, something very much you want to take advantage of. Um, with that being said, I think something else to talk about important is usage. So I pay for a $200 plan. I've been paying for a $200 plan for about, I think maybe like 3 months now. Just because like I use up the usage for the $100 plan. And I think my numbers could be wrong. I think for the $100 plan, you maybe get about 250 messages. And how that message thing is I don't know how to judge it. And I think for the next tier, you get about 900 messages, which is like a significant jump. But when you're inside of here, if you want to see your usage, you can do /usage. Oh, that's so funny. It told me that it can't see my usage. But when you come here, this will show you that. But if you do have a problem with that there, if you come to your Claude desktop and you come to your billing, sorry, if you come to your usage, you can see that here. And I'll explain how this works because it is very weird and I hope they do change it, but I guess it works for now. So no matter if you pay for $100 or $200, you get like your resets are every 5 hours. Right. So right now I've used 23%. If I get to 100, I have a reset of 5 hours. There's this other weekly like model limit thing that all models just mean obviously all models, and then Sonnet means you're only using Sonnet. There are settings to only use Sonnet. There are settings to auto switch between models. What will happen though is if you hit either of these, you will be maxed out until the weekly limit comes back. It's like my weekly limit resets Thursday. If I was to max either of these out before Thursday, I would not be able to use Claude Code. I would have to go to the console and pay for the API. So I don't think anybody's, I'm not gonna say be building as much as me or running that many terminals or agents, but it is helpful to know, especially if you might be starting off on the $100 one and you want to do different things, but want to give that context there for that. So we're gonna come back here and really quick, I know everybody else is probably ahead of me and you're already seeing this. So it's gonna ask some questions. What should I do with the duplicate files? We'll recommend we're just gonna delete those. What should I do with the seven? Oh, that's so funny that it brought this up. We're gonna skip that. That's gonna be for something else. That's a project for automating your entire house using open source software. Can't delete that, and it doesn't need to be anywhere. And then it says what include an organization, move, personal media folder. Oh no, this is asking about. So really quick, when there's something you don't know, just say I'm not sure what you mean, but I know this is asking about the default uh folders that are there. No, I don't want it to do that. I don't want it to mess with that. I don't want to break any of that stuff, even though it can fix it or whatever. No, leave this alone, even though I should be not talking. Right, installers. All right, same thing. No, please leave this alone. And then we're gonna have that. keep finishing what it's doing. Any questions so far? Or anybody that's ahead of me and some files are actually here or being moved or anything like that? Okay, so let's see what this will start doing. Oh, and also on this left-hand side here, you'll see this Claude folder. And what this is, Claude Code has three levels. User level, project level, and global level. I believe I'm saying all of those correctly. So for example, like the MCPs that I turned off are like on the global level. Every time I start Claude Code, they are there. You can have it on a project level. So like, let's say me and Jeff are working on a project, me and Bliss are working on a project, and in order for me to pass it off, and if I want their team to use Claude Code or whatever the case may be, I can set it at that level, which is helpful, especially if other people are collaborating using Claude Code, because later on you're going to see what's called an MD file, which is kind of like the brain of how Claude Code works whenever it's just looking through a folder or repository that has that MD file. But this Claude folder here with this settings.local JSON, all this is basically doing, I'm trying to pull this terminal down. It's just this kind of settings that when you press allow and press yes and stuff, it's just saving that. So you technically don't have to do it again, even though we are doing it again. If you're wondering what that folder is, when it's making a plan, you as you can see, and these should all be on for you guys. Like they have like tips and stuff. I advise just to play around with them. You can do like different things while this is like talking. It doesn't like interrupt the chat. The only time it interrupts the chat is if you actually press escape here. So you can press plan, and then it, it as you can see, like it didn't mess up. But when it gets done doing whatever it's doing, the plans are gonna pop up. I'm able to see the plan, edit the plan. Which is cool, what they used to do with the plan mode. I don't know, like it would create the plan, but it wouldn't be an actual file that like you could go see later or like reference later, even though it's not like saved anywhere here in this directory with files, if that makes sense, which is cool. So I'm really curious on like what giant plan this made. Okay, there we go. In the nick of time. All right, so same stuff. Sometimes you don't have to look through this. Sometimes you can skim through it. I like doing it. Obviously, we told it to do a lot of stuff, so I kind of want to just skim through this, right? So first thing it's telling me is like, hey, these are the duplicates. It's telling me the size, right? It's telling me, cool, how many PDFs, how many images, how many audio files, video files, spreadsheets, JSON data, virtual machines. That's funny, right? So it is putting this in PDFs. It's noticing things that are like similar. So it put it like in a subfolder of the PDFs. Here are audio files, video files, RFPs. It's funny, it classified this as business documents. So these are PDFs instead of putting it in a PDF one, which is fine. It put it into business documents, which is cool. I might need that categorization. I can't say categorization. Terrible. I never knew I couldn't say that word. Couldn't categorize it the way that I want to. Um, that's cool, right? So it's very nested, right? Delete duplicates, skip VM files, skip personal media, skip installers, create a main directory, da 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 da. Okay, all that looks pretty good to me. And this is new, actually. I'm seeing. Oh, this is a new feature. Yes, clear up context and auto accept. Hmm. That's actually very interesting. So that means now, after a plan, it's going to clear context of what I just showed you earlier, start fresh. I wonder how that works. I'm gonna have to look that up. And then as we can see, now we have these folders here we don't have the files yet, right? It's still asking me to do certain things, right? And this is so what's cool. And really quick, I want to say what I think is really cool about a CLI tool. If you don't know what a CLI tool, and I'll try to be non-technical. Jeff, you probably might be the best translator here, so if you can do that for me, that'd be cool. Obviously, if you've met me, you hear me talk about APIs or hear my friends joke about me building stuff all the time, which is with the power of APIs. A CLI is really cool because, first off, CLI, command line interface, is basically the opposite way of how APIs work. Instead of like APIs connecting to a platform, CLI is just a way you talk to the computer. That's literally it, right? And CLIs can have an API built behind it, but the whole point is that you're talking to the computer. The reason why CLI is not like, I guess, very known is because they're really more based towards like developer tools. So Amazon, Supabase, a lot of super technical stuff will have a CLI. And it's basically using an API, but you're just typing on the computer to do certain things. It might be to start a website, start a fresh database, whatever the case may be. So the reason Claude Code is so cool because it's a CLI tool that just allows you to talk to it instead of you having to know all of these bash commands that it's putting in that you see here in order to do whatever said action that you want to do. Which is why I made the comment earlier why like, out of all my years, I know there's a lot of hype, but just want to show like anybody can use this tool. It really is a good product, starting from the basics to do a plethora of other things. And because it is still developer focused, it kind of really helps bridge that gap even further than a lot of the other tools out here. Which goes into also saving money from not using a plethora of other tools. And right, I know a lot of people, I hear you guys copy and paste a lot. And I think one great benefit of a CLI tool is not copy and pasting. For example, you make a design in anti-gravity, and then you come and you want to come vibe code it and do it. Well, later on, I'll show like examples of now that you have access to a CLI, I mean, it'd be funny here. You can use a CLI to use a CLI. So you can use Claude Code to use Gemini to design, right? Or access a plethora of other things and not have to copy and paste and bring it in your ecosystem. And of course, most of us probably already have this on our laptop or desktop, right? Um, and actually something else that's really cool. And when this is done, I will show that. I don't know if you guys have ever used Claude Code Claude Desktop to try to like pull a Google link. Claude Code can do that automatically, right? Because it can run the commands in the terminal to download Python or whatever in order to read the web page of this Google URL. And once again, kind of stopping that, having to copy and paste and do like all these other things to do certain stuff when we use a lot of these AI tools. So yes, I am right now, and we are probably just pressing a lot of enter. Does anybody want to talk about what's going on their side really quick? I don't want to be too boring and show my screen. I want to. Anybody want to share? No.
I tried it. I tried a different one. I just tried it because I have like 14 million screenshots on my desktop. So I said, I'm like, I just asked it to go and take a look at the screenshots on my desktop and provide a plan to organize them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I should have said, I got screenshots. I got two screenshots folders. I should do that next. Anybody else do something different besides
Yeah, I
screenshots
just
or
went
have a
through
bigger
and
file?
had to go through my projects folder and find all duplicates, and it's been going through and just searching through the drive and finding all the duplicate files, and I'm going to see what it does after that, and so get rid of extra trash.
So far, everybody is working, is doing something. Nobody's having problems.
Yeah, I couldn't get WhisperFlow connected, but I'll deal with that later.
You said which one connected?
WhisperFlow, the voice thing. I just did it
Oh,
by
the
hand.
WhisperFlow?
Or WhisperFlow, whatever it's called. Yeah.
You're on Mac, huh? right?
Yeah.
I
I
think that
installed the app, but then it was weird.
usually that's the easiest one to do.
How do
So
I connect it in VS Code though?
so when you download it, it's just gonna be it's gonna have an actual walkthrough and it's gonna be like 3 minutes. All you literally do is you're gonna set another key to what you want to activate. So like when I'm right here and I say like, hey, this is just an example of how it works. I'm just literally holding down control in Windows and then it just activates.
Yes, so I have WhisperFlow. I paid for the version on my Mac, and once it's installed, it asks you which key you want to force
Yeah.
be the key. And so it's in the lower left, the little globe function. And every time I hold that down, WhisperFlow takes my words. So whatever
Yeah, I
your
did, but it
cursor
didn't.
is,
I think yeah,
may have
I,
some conflict.
Can you quit it and then start it up again?
I think I've got too many things just running on this. I think it's one of those. I'll just
Because I
restart
do know
things
like
later. Yeah.
when you go through the onboarding, it will have you test it before like it tries to go to the home page, like of the buttons working and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that might be the problem.
Yeah, if you go ahead, Adrian.
I just have a quick question. As I'm kind of tracking along over here, after installation of the plugin, it got an error message, and I was just ChatGPTing it to figure out what the issue
Oh,
was. But I restarted Visual Studio, and my question is, how do you launch the plugin, I guess, inside of Visual Studio? Like you go to terminal and then you just type in Claude, or do you launch it
gotcha.
differently?
So the way that I'm doing right now, the one you just described is like quote unquote the native way in like the terminal, like how you would regularly do if you were not in a platform like VS Code or Cursor or Windsurf. The way that you're saying is if you see my screen, right?
Yeah.
On this left-hand side, you're gonna see this little box here.
Yep.
And
Got it.
at these like extensions are gonna pop up. When you
Mm-hmm.
start typing in Claude, you
Yep.
should see this one here, Claude Code for why is it not showing up right now? You see this right here, Claude Code for VS Code about 3000. It should be like an install button right here. You click install, and then you're
Yep.
gonna see this little icon right here. And when you click on this, it'll open up Claude Code for you. So
Got it.
then
Thank you.
that's basically the extension version. Same thing as like what I'm doing. It's just like better UI for most people.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So we come back here, see all these files. So it said it's all done. This report includes, so I see audio. I got all this right here. We got PDFs. Now you will sometimes see, as an example, like I'm on a PDF, and you will see sometimes like this little pop up inside of an IDE that says like, do you want to install this? It's just kind of like same thing. You know, do you want to trust this? Usually you can determine that yourself. I'm going to risk it all here with this 123 stars, but it has 10 million downloads. Basically, what these little things do is like if I'm, you know, clicking on a PDF, now I'm actually able to see this PDF inside of here. As you saw earlier, I wasn't able to see it before. It was like the actual code or the blob, the nerdy stuff of that actual file, if that makes sense. Same thing would be, you know, for audio one, even though it didn't pop up here, there's probably an extension for you to see those specific type of files inside of the IDE editor that you're using. Make sense? I'm gonna take that as a yes. So let's see. Where would I go next from all of this? I think what's actually kind of cool, going back into what I was saying with it able just like to do stuff and download stuff. So like let's say let's go back up really quick. What did it say that I had? Oh, this is a lot of stuff. Will I be able to even go back that far and see that pretty little chart it made? I think so. Okay, so it said I have this many PDFs, this many images, this much audio. So I think actually what might be cool let's do this. I see that I have files that can be transformed as they are media files. Can you download FFmpeg? I want to transcribe some of them. And can you create some agents and come up with a plan to see how I could use some of this to create some content uh, off some of these files? So if you don't know what FFmpeg is, FFmpeg is literally a library of millions of video encoders and decoders, and I actually will have a build on that a little bit later. One guy, Adrian, in here is somebody that's in a community where I'm a moderator, my friend Steven, where he made a tool with FFmpeg, which we'll show later. But it's actually a free tool. Everybody uses it, Instagram, CapCut, TikTok, et cetera, et cetera. So what this is doing
Did you
right
know
now,
it's older than IFTTT?
is way older than INC. That guy's made like the guy who made FFmpeg has made about like 30 main softwares that are like used to this day. He's like a go in the software world. But what this is doing is downloading FFmpeg, which is helpful to me, even though I do have a tool what I'll be showing later. But now I have FFmpeg installed locally on my computer, which if you don't know, like the Whisper, right? The transcriber from OpenAI uses FFmpeg. Almost anything that transcribes and does a multiple amount of things use FFmpeg. So it's a very great tool to have. And what's great is you don't even really need to know the commands to do something with FFmpeg because Claude Code will do it for you. So I do know that I have some videos on here that are these right here, which is basically like an introduction into no code, basically. Some videos that my friend recorded a while ago that I thought were really cool, kind of close to the way that I think things should be taught and introduced. So when this is done, we're going to use that to come up with some content and also see what ideas that this came up with as well. Any questions so far?
Yeah, real brief. Again, if you use plan versus not using plan, does it prompt you? Can you explain the difference of not using plan versus using plan?
Just straightforward going to edit files, not really asking questions or coming up with a series of like set steps that it's going to follow.
Cool.
Yeah. I find myself like I said, of course I find myself using it more so than not, but I'm using like I create agents. So on the next prompt that I'll do, I'll have it to like create agents and show you that, which is kind of different than creating like sub agents. It depending on the task, or if you explicitly say it, it can go and you'll see it say like creating an agent for this or that or this, and come back with a plan. So I like to use it a lot for that. Usually if it's not in plan mode, and it's not something I tested, but I don't think it will go into straight doing that. And if it did, I don't think it would be as good either. Because depending on some of the requests that you make, like it will do a lot of things in parallel, or it will do it like in phases, if that makes sense, which you can like see the difference. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Mhm.
There's a quick question. The file management or the initial
Claude Desktop. Mhm.
yeah, no, well, no, the thing that you did initially to kind of manage, like, like, hey, check out all the files that I have. Do I have any duplicates and all of that?
Uh-huh.
And it wrote some code and everything. Um, is the output is so it gave you like here's what you have. It just kind of went through it. If you so you ran this under subscription, you ran that. Say it cost you some money. Now, every time you execute that, is that what you're going to continue paying, or is the output from that a code that then you can locally run to continue to get information about the, let's say, files and file management on your system? I'm trying to kind of parse, how you're u utilizing it. Are you building something, a piece of code that then is going to do the thing that you wanted it to do locally, or do you every single time you want to, let's say, do the file management the way you did, it's going to go up against your subscription and you're going to pay for Claude execution?
Got you. That's actually a good question. If I don't answer it, ask me again or tell me I didn't answer this part. So in the first part, if you're paying with the subscription, you don't pay anything extra. You pay now. This is an entirely different conversation. How long this will last, I do not know. Right. But what is definitely apparent is regardless whether you pay the $20, $100, or $200 subscription, and I'm going to change my screen here, it is significantly cheaper than how we would pay for normally pay for this. So you would come to platforms, you would load your amount of money, right? And it would pull from here. This would be gone probably so fast. How fast, I don't know. It would be gone significantly faster than how the subscription model works, which is basically based on this usage here that I was showing you earlier. So to give an example, as you can see, I've been using this since March 7th, 2024 for the last, no, sorry, wrong thing. I need to be here because that price is different than this price. So I've been using this since June 22nd. Let's just go off the last 3 months, right? If I look up, they have this thing in here called stats. So if I type in /stats and look at how much of Claude I've actually used, you better load here. And I don't know why it's taking this. So, I don't like that. You're making a fool of me. So my streak is actually 76 days out of 79. I do not like why that's changed. I don't know why. That's very weird. My token count is actually at 26 million, right? Now just take these low numbers, right? How much you would have actually paid for that, like doing the API, way too much money. So for your first question, you don't pay any extra money if you pay for the subscription. It's just until you get timed out. Second one, in terms of whenever you're doing anything with the IDE, this is all locally. And it isn't, I would say, a matter in this particular case, I didn't set anything up to kind of happen automatically. All I did was make a new folder on my laptop and organize different type of files there. So even if I don't open Claude Code, if I want to pull from that folder different files, upload into Google or whatever the case may be, I can do that. As an advanced answer, if I want to set up things automatically to do that, I can in a variety of different ways, which we'll kind of cover throughout different builds. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Gotcha. That makes sense. I'm trying, I guess the larger question that I'm trying to answer in my head is, I understand when you need to use Claude Code, when you're doing larger project development, let's say, building out like a SaaS or something that, Stephen is going over, and it's kind of going back and forth, and it's part of his development, base where he's got Git, hub set up and everything, version control and all that stuff. For like smaller things, like let's say if I want to have, I could just use OpenAI and just have it create a Python script that I could then run and do pretty much the same thing in terms of, let's say, organizing local files. And then you have it developed once and then you can run it as many times as you
You
want
could,
versus using your, Claude, credits as you asking it to do things for you.
yeah, I was gonna say like you can do all of those same things, right? Like I accidentally, I don't know if you guys just saw, I was actually like let's just call this a big project. It's not a SaaS, but like I have scripts here which would be like the same thing that you're saying, right? So even in this folder here in the VS Code, like if I wanted to make a script for whatever reason, I just haven't thought of one off the top of my head, I could do that to make it automatic. And I think maybe to answer your question, like, let's just say if, you know, you didn't want to use Claude and you wanted to use the Codex CLI from OpenAI, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a CLI tool that has access to everything, and you would do that. I think to the other point is taking out the perception that you only need to use it for big development workflows, like what Steven is doing to build a SaaS, which is kind of like why I wanted to do these builds of showing it like it's that good of a tool that you can use it really for a variety of things. There are people who are going to be able to use this who will never vibe code a day in their life, but they'll be able to come here and organize files, grab things from emails, make presentations, and do the whole other 9 yards that has nothing to do with actually coding.
Gotcha.
At least
Yeah,
that's my perspective.
I'm tracking. Yeah, I just want to I just want to understand. Like, I guess I want to understand it better so that I don't put myself in a position where the subscription, like you're paying whether it's $20 or $100 a month, that you're not running something that's going to be out of control, and then you're going to get a massive bill
Right.
unknowingly.
Yeah,
You're
I
like, hey, what
haven't.
happened there?
Yeah, so far as paying this Claude Code subscription, I haven't had a bill come that why am I paying more for this or anything like I said. And that's kind of like if you watch just content about Claude Code in general, which is why another reason why people are recommending it. The amount that you're getting, even for a $20 subscription, beats paying for the API and loading those credits by 100x. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. And to maybe go a little bit deeper into that, not to segue too much, when it took me, I started using Claude Code maybe 2 months after it came out, and my workflow, so earlier, like how I was recommending this file extension, that's what I was basically doing the same thing. So I would like have a project. Hopefully I could just find one that's like super simple. Like I would have, let's use this as an example. So like I'm making something called the Claude Code Challenge. Now, because another question might come in like, do I still use Claude Desktop and all these other things, right? So what I like about, and I'm pretty sure with ChatGPT is the same thing. I'm not sure. Somebody would have to correct me. What I like about Claude and what swayed me over to them is when I was paying the $20 and Claude Code first came out, I didn't realize that those were like I got that part of my $20 subscription. Right. So I was only using the desktop, regardless of whether I was scared of the terminal or not. And what I was basically doing with these connectors, whether it was GitHub, whether it was files or anything like that, going back to the copying and pasting, I was able like to make these folders and prep. So like this project here basically I'm working on it. And whenever like I have an idea, just think of the reverse. Before I built that project, I started here. Right. So I know when you see Claude Code or you hear me talk about Claude Code, it might seem like I'm always or somebody's always starting from the perspective of Claude Code. I don't want to give the impression that you have to. Everybody has different workflows, right? I do a lot of back and forth. I don't have one way. So sometimes when I have an idea, I come here and I have it do the same thing because this has access to my files. I'll say, hey, go make this in my code folder. This is a project. So when I start up Claude Code, I already have a markdown file to spawn some agents to start working on that project. Everybody following me there? I'm assuming that's a yeah. So let's come back here. And this is still asking
It's
me
like a
about
macro that just runs when you start automatically, basically what you're saying.
basically, depending
Yeah.
on what it is. Because sometimes I need to do research and it has nothing to do with you can't do those in Claude Code. It might just have to do with, maybe I'm on my phone and I just start an idea there. And then when I get home, get here and then I just have it make the folders and I have it do certain things. It might depend on whether there's a GitHub repo there. What's also cool is like, let's say this project was already done and this was like a SaaS. regardless, I could come here because once again, this has access to all my files. I can go have it look at that and say, clone this or take these parts out because I want to build another idea and put that in a code folder, right? So when I start up Claude Code again, all I'm saying is literally, right, I start up in plan mode. Go take a look at this MD workflow and start planning on how to turn this into a front end UI or whatever the case may be, just to get context. Because a lot of people do kind of ask me like, should I stop using Claude Desktop or should I? No, it really depends on your workflow and what you like to do or whatever the case may be. Because it's kind of hard to kind of take away the UI and replace that with VS Code and kind of treat these as if they're projects. Does that make sense? Like you could make a folder of course, of a different example where it's just these could be all your clients, literally. And they can just be giant folders of whatever. And then you have Claude Code in this giant directory of subfolders of all your clients, for example, like Jeff, where all of their Go high level stuff was there because you can connect through OAuth and then just start updating stuff or start doing stuff. It just really depends on what it is. Why you would do that? Well, because maybe the MCP or the connector in the Claude desktop doesn't have access to, maybe some of these other APIs of what you want to do to create a workflow. So I'm gonna have this
It doesn't have access. Only I think it's like 29 tools right now. That's pretty.
right pretty low for Go high level with like
Yeah, but
150 inputs.
there's like no, there's 285 that
There
they've
there you
got. Yeah.
go. Right. Is everybody kind of following what I'm saying? Though, does that make sense in your own way? Hopefully, I'm hoping.
It will one day. I'm
Any,
tracking some of the things that I think it's going to become real once I'm going to start actually implementing and it's going to click in. So is everyone using the Claude subscription like Pro or at what levels are
yeah.
people
So I
using?
have a max plan. Like I said, I paid the $200, and I just been. This will be my fourth month paying that.
So $200 a month.
Yeah, and I don't pay for no. So let me be specific. I have to give context. Obviously, I'm a developer. You guys know I build stuff. So if I am paying for something else, for example, like ChatGPT, $20, I'm not paying because I'm using ChatGPT. I'm paying because there are other things that I'm building with ChatGPT that require me to pay that $20 to access the developer mode, if that makes sense. But this has replaced a plethora of tools for a developer. Like I said, you can, all of these platforms have a CLI. So like, and I'll give just an example. You can download the Google CLI and literally have access to the entirety of your Google and just have Claude know that you're just using the Google CLI and bam, like the Google world is yours in a folder to do a plethora of things. It's like not even funny. And I wasn't even I mess with a lot of Google APIs, but I never had a reason to install or use the CLI. But I think I was like making a project where I needed to do some stuff with the Search Console and do some other stuff, and it was super easy. Oh, Adrian, you'll probably like this as an example. Like I'll show this later. I used that to make a one-click install for the NCA Toolkit to where if you already have a um, Google Cloud account with billing, you just literally come here, click this button, it installs the toolkit for you, every single part, step by step. You don't need to do anything. All because I had access to the CLI and I was able to, it was able to see things and I asked it certain questions about certain stuff and bam, knocked it out. Which is like really cool. Even as a developer, like I ask questions, I get stuck. Um, when it, has a good memory of stuff just from a CLI perspective to go use things and do things. So I like that. So this is funny. This is building a media processor agent, creating a system documentation, sample content library, build a knowledge base builder agent. Okay, so it's just building some different agents for me. And I didn't read that plan apparently like I thought I did. was just asking me and telling me that this will probably cost money and do stuff like that. So I know we are at the 12:30 mark. I do want to finish this before I end. I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I know you guys have clients and have meetings. Um,
My
but
thing
yeah,
worked.
yours work. Or where are you at so far? If anybody wants to share their screen, I will happily stop sharing my screen. And if anybody kind of want to talk about what they have or the idea that they have of what they did so far.
I'd have to share a screenshot from before. I mean, can I attach a file?
I think you can, right? Oh yeah, Adam, I'll share it later. I'm gonna like do a post or a video like I was gonna do it this month in general. I've had that actually for like over a month. I just to be honest forgot about it until I started setting up stuff for this month.
Yeah, I'd love to see that too. The NCA Toolkit has been the bane of my existence. That the setup is just, if you don't use an DigitalOcean like the way Steven is using it, setting it up on anything else is just an adventure. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, I actually have a setup for I had it on DigitalOcean and I moved it because I have a VPS on HostSinger which was actually way better. But I did have problems when I first tried to install it on Google Workspace, Google Cloud, even though I have like a
Yeah,
paid account.
I'd love to. I'd love to know your setup because that's what I did too. I didn't go with the DigitalOcean just because the specs of the VPS on that are you're not getting your money's worth, and so I went with Hostinger as well.
Yeah,
But then just to kind of manage all the tools, I went with Coolify in order to be able to,
got you.
have
Yeah, and I was gonna
NA9
say that was
and
another reason why some people did it. Yeah, my on my hosting, I have like a plethora of things on the VPS, if that makes sense. But I knew eventually, like I have other projects that I'm gonna put it on my clients, like Google Cloud, just to
Mhm.
free credits and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer to get the NCA probably on my VPS than GCP, but um, and do actual secrets management instead of just putting that key in kind of a plain text form
Right.
on an env file. But I just want to get past a cleaner way to do setup. Um,
Yeah, it is a bit tedious. I'll make sure you guys reach out to me and I'll share
yeah,
it with you guys.
yeah, thanks.
Hey, on the Hostinger VPSs, do you find it better to purchase multiple smaller models or one bigger model and segment it out?
So you
What's
know what,
what's
to be
your
honest, it's so
preference?
funny you asked me that. I think right now it's better to have so I pay like for the $60 one. It's like the largest one and I have so many projects on there, which is so helpful. Like I can't complain. What I do find is, and I just ran into a problem, like I want to do how could I explain this? Unless you're putting something on the VPS that requires you to have multiple, I think it's better just to have one. And then you just separate them in their own directory inside of that VPS. That's what I do on my VPS.
Cool,
Like
cool.
N8N is its own directory, Pipecat is its own directory, LiveKit is its own directory. I got some WebSocket stuff in its own directory, and then like whenever I need to go into it, I just root or folder into that directory, like with the AI stuff, and then bam, that's it. Well, to be honest, I have an MCP that like a SSH MCP that I use with Claude Code that does all that stuff. And
Cool.
in Docker
Cool.
Desktop, it'll connect as well. And literally, I just like, for example, if I want to self-host LiveKit, I'll just put the LiveKit documentation in Docker Desktop, and it'll do it from there to the VPS right there.
Yeah, I've just Dockerized everything.
Yeah.
So I have a couple different projects running, but they're just in Dockers. And that helps me mentally segment my
Yeah.
VPS. Because otherwise I'm all over the place.
Yeah, Docker. Yeah. But let me come back here and see where I'm at. I'll share my screen in a minute to where I got where's my VS Code. So it's still asking me about this orchestrator. Let me come back and share my screen.
Hey, while you're doing that, Tylen, I have to jump off, and I'm going to hit these as often as I can. There's some conflicts, but
No
I'll catch
problem.
them
Yeah,
as I can and
no
look for your
commitment. Yeah,
reports.
as long as you guys register, you guys will get the recording. And worst case scenario, these will probably be up on YouTube. And I think in Muma, like I'll just send like push notification of like, here's the link, because everybody's already like technically like either subscribed or came to an event and you'll see it.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Good
no
stuff.
problem.
And look forward to the future ones.
Got you. I appreciate you for coming.
Ciao.
Same. Thanks, Tylen.
No
Bye.
problem. So I'm gonna let this finish. I wanna at least show FFmpeg and see what it's gonna do with these agents, and then I think that will be a good wrap up. And then I think tomorrow I have, even if you guys can't show up, I have. Oh, we're doing websites tomorrow.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I
That was gonna be
played
the
with
one that
that.
I, yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff that I just built that I just shown. Actually, look, since you guys are here, so no, it's not like I'm sharing secrets. And I'm not saying these are like the best websites or anything, but I keep getting asked, especially like with Claude Code specifically, like how do I build these sites? So this is like my main site right here. I need to put it back on Educate, but very simple. Show some events, has a booking link, but depending on what they do, like they want, some people pay me to educate, some people pay me to consult. So like all of these kind of switch up, just like interactive stuff. All of these are like interactive demos of like workflows or dashboards, like things that I build all the time that people can uh,
Are you
basically.
using, are you just doing coding or are you using like a CMS, like the old school WordPress type
No,
stuff
this is
or
I have this actually hooked up to like a database called Convex.
interesting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to get away from the content management systems and just with
Got you.
Claude Code, I'm just like coding crap and then push from GitHub at this point.
Got you. Yeah, so I am a WordPress fanatic. That is one of the reasons why I got into so much stuff. But besides that, I use a platform called Convex if I'm not using Superbase. And I just wanted to, this was kind of like so low maintenance that um I didn't need to use, well, I don't say I didn't need to use Superbase. I know I'm gonna have two databases, and I'm very experienced with Superbase, and I wanted to leave with Convex just like for some other reasons. But the one thing I really want to do with this website is like I have this playground. So when people like, sign up with a consultation from me, like they're able to log in their Google, and then they're able to actually interact and play around with basically a lot of the things that they ask me to build, which would be like a agent or a voice agent. So it's like this playground where it already has access to like my Gmail, my Google Drive. I could ask it
You
somebody.
okay, Bog?
What happened? Say that again, Jeff.
I was
Oh, well, you need to be muted. Oh. But yeah, it's just like this playground that people can play around with, and it has like examples of like that being live kit. I'm not done with it yet. But yeah, people are like asking me like how did I do that? And then this is kind of like an announcement that will go out later along with this like 30 days of building, but I have something that I'm doing called the Claude Code Challenge, which is that's so funny that it's acting like it doesn't want to show up now. But basically it's like the same thing as this, but it's actually using Claude Code. So like kind of like all these builds that I'm doing, like you can make these things called plugins with Claude Code. And basically I made a plugin so like you can download the plugin and it will actually like teach you a certain concept or a protocol. So like one day it'll be MCPs, one day it'll be A2P, one day it'll be MCP apps. Another day it might be, like you said, just doing a website or something like that. So like this entire website was built with Claude Code as well. A lot of people like and are
Yeah, I
asking.
like it.
So just showing like different stuff and a plethora of different things and stuff like that. So let me once again come back to this last part and see where we're at. I keep opening Windsurf on accident. I need to be in VS Code. And this has two more spots left. Let me come back to share my screen again. this out the way. Thank you, Zoom. And then also too, remember I had this other, oh, this is not gonna, oh yeah, this will work because I'm in the chat. I did switch to another terminal, but if you want to pull up a chat, I'm not gonna close that one. You have command clear, so that like clears the chat. You have slash compact with like closes the chat. And then when you, let's say your computer dies or you close Claude or whatever, and you want to come back and you want to resume that chat, regardless of the context or whatever, you just do slash resume, and then it would allow you to see all those conversations. And then now you can even rename those conversations and stuff like that. And as an example, like I'm going to switch into Windsurf, another one, but I have Claude running here too. Like if I do resume, I should have like long conversations as you see, like when Claude makes task, or for example, like this has 9 other sessions, like it's been compacted 9 times, like you can see all of those things. So that might be like just really helpful when you need to go back to something, or I think now it can reference that because like all of those are their own individual files. And I'll probably get into that structure a little bit like next time. Is important to know though, and very helpful. Because sometimes, like as an example, you might, let's say you rename a folder, right? So like let's say this is in my content folder, right? And let's say it was in a subfolder named like content strategy, and I renamed content strategy to content strategy one. All of the conversations are don't exist anymore because you've changed that directory name. You've changed the path there. So that doesn't mean they're not there. It just means you would use something like I think you could use Claude Code to do it, or you could use Claude Desktop, like with the file MCP that I said. But you can go get those file structures and bring them back. But that is important because some people do rename their folders, and they're like, I'm trying to look for my chats, and I don't have any of my chats or anything like that, and they don't know how the structure works for that stuff. So hopefully this will be done in like a few more minutes. And as you can see, this has been running for 17 minutes, 30K tokens. And yeah, that's gonna, I don't have to pay extra for that or anything like that. And it also made a system documentation file. So it made, this was actually going to what it was being asked earlier, like some scripts being ran. So it made some Python scripts to extract audio and metadata, transcribe audio files, extract content structure, and then build a knowledge base. And then it has something, generate a blog post in social media for a specific file, okay? Right? Media agent processor extract. Okay, so these specific agents will do these specific things in general. Using, and then that's so funny. So models, tiny, gave like different presets. Extract structured content, AI powered extraction, optional. Oh my God, it's almost done, so close. I want to see what it's gonna do with some of these. Oh, processing all media files. Okay, 37. That was fast for like 35% of 7 files instantly. That fast. So I wonder if it's gonna create a own folder for all of. Oh yeah, it did already. I'm slow. It's right here. Oh, it's already here. Look at that. Transcribe for free. Oh, and then they put it in a text file too. So basically a baby NCA toolkit so far, which is cool. So let's see. This is technically done, even though it's doing that. So it says, I've implemented all this. I've created all of these agents. I've created a master pipeline orchestrator, a batch content generator, a status checker, and a folder structure. Here are files, 5 individual agent documentation, media processing. Here are some scripts, key files. So far, $0, all local processing. I don't know why it's saying this for that because it's gonna be done through Whisper, which is free, but okay. Wait for transcription. I doubt this will take 60 more minutes, but background install OpenAI Whisper complete. This is done, and yeah, okay. So we were able to get files, clear the duplicates, install FFmpeg, already transcribe the audio and media files, or at least the audio files. Well, it's probably the media files as well. It's still finishing those. And then it made a whole agent system and then kind of did what you said, what you asked me earlier, right? Adrian about the scripts and stuff like that. Go ahead. That's all you heard about.
Yeah, no, you just answered my question. Those are the best, right?
Right. And I didn't say anything about, I don't think I really said anything about like orchestration or anything. I just said, I think I want to use this later on for content, right?
Yeah, so all these Python scripts and everything. So all of this is going to be living. It's all living locally on your computer right now, right?
Yeah.
And if you would want to, let's say, use this, obviously it documented how, um, documented how to utilize it. But um, what would be the next step for you to let's say once it finishes and you have some new media files they want to process with this, how would you go about actually utilizing all of this stuff that it created? Because it looks like you just built a world over there, like a lot of different moving parts, right?
Yeah. So first I would take this and like, so the first thing I think about, even though I'm showing local stuff, I'm not really a fan of local because I know that I'm gonna be using some type of cloud something to do something. And this originally goes back to the frustration that I was saying earlier, right? So Airtable and AI table can't really put a lot of stuff in there because when it gets to the media files, it's too much and they have like a gig limit, right? So you kind of already are gonna be headed towards S3 storage, regardless, whether it's Superbase, whether it's DigitalOcean, whether it's Google Cloud, right? That's the end goal. Of course, we know that a little bit better working around with Steven, but my goal is also basically it would be now let me include one part. There's some part where I do come here and do this manually. So let's say all of this was from emails, right? Or just community stuff is general. Um, I would come here, work, and in terms of content, right, I would every day make an agent that would check this folder all the time. And basically, it's gonna take like those transcripts and put them in a S3 bucket. Let's just say DigitalOcean, super simple, $5. They allow you to get an S3 bucket, right? I'm gonna send all my stuff there, and that's where it's gonna live. And now I can create that. So two things, I can either create that connection back to Claude Code because I can take the API keys, right, of that S3 bucket and put them in these files here. So let me be a little technical, even though some people may know this, right? When you are working on something, you have to use variables in terms of locally, they're just .env files. I'm not showing my .env local one here because I'm probably going to post this later, but just giving an example, right? This is going to say, hey, these are the variables you need. This is what you put here, right? So with this same folder, I would just make a .env and say, hey, this is all done. This is so let me I know I'm going back and forth, right? This is a TXT file. My .env local file would be here. This is transcribed. Send that off to my bucket, right? Now I know it's in my bucket. Now I have other automations or other things that are going to trigger and send that off. So in my bucket, and let's say I could be wrong here because I like to show in real time. So let's say I go back to DigitalOcean really quick. And so in this bucket, I can have. I remember I was testing that thing last time. So like whenever I would have all of these in categorized already, right? So in this here, this is categorized. My bucket would match that, right? So I would make another folder slash gamma slash PDF slash doc, whatever. It don't even gotta be slash gamma. Let's say slash PDF slash Excel. Let's just say those were the two things I would use in. When I finish this process, right? This goes to that folder. And then I have another automation somewhere that says when this a new something hits this folder, do this, right? So if I'm getting information, let's say from an invoice or a PDF, and I want to turn that into a gamma, every time something new hits that gamma folder, I make a gamma document. Then maybe depending, me personally, I wouldn't bring that back locally. I would have already created like an interface, or maybe it gets sent back to Airtable or something like that. Obviously, you can use whatever you want, but that would be kind of like my flow specifically for something like this. That's probably more than likely what I'm going to be doing. My whole goal is to get all of this, have Claude Code go through it, and I don't mind this part being manual. It's a little fun. You get to talk back and forth, see all this, let it do whatever with FFmpeg. As you can see, it made an agent. I say, hey, all this is done. Let's make one more folder where all these actually live. So it's separated, right? I want my text files separate from my JSON files because maybe I'll use the JSON for something else because it's in a different format for a different automation, whatever, right? But it's going to be organized. And then I just go build an interface for whatever the whole point of that is for.
Copy. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And I don't, like I said, I don't do this one as much as like organizing because to be honest, I delete a lot of files. Like I would have probably been better showing an example in my code folder. It's just these projects have too much stuff for the agents to be going through, and we'd have been waiting here like 30 minutes to do something. So it's just better to make a brand new folder with some files I already had. I just needed to download them back on my laptop, which would be unorganized and kind of go from there. But that was like a real actual use case and an actual problem. I could not find a solution with that for Airtable or AI table, mainly because I have videos that exceed the gigabyte limit. So it's hard for me. What my original workflow was, whenever I come here, as soon as I put in any type of file, it already like has a formula where it gets calculated and then it gets categorized or whatever, and then it just gets sent. And the same thing would happen. Like I get the thumbnail back, I get when it was created, I get all the metadata. But it makes no point if I can't put a video or file here that's bigger than whatever that limit is, if that makes sense. And ideally, you don't want any limit. You should be able to put in any file. So hopefully that gives a lot of context there. So coming back one more time to this before I wrap up. All right, so let's see what's been built. 5 agent pipelines, 14 high quality transcription, 7,000 words, orchestration platform, documentation, batching. I don't know if this is 60 hours of manual work, but like maybe we go with that, right? And it was free. It says we have 150 pieces to go off of. That's, Opus clips right there. Reusable for future media and production ready code. We're going to take that with a grain of salt, but it gives us something to rebuild on if we had an idea that we wanted to do this for someone else or turn it into a SaaS or something, right? So, yeah. I went an extra 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys for staying.
Well, it's good
And
to see some of this work.
Yeah, no, it's
I
really
appreciate it.
good. We'll see you tomorrow. Looking
Yeah.
forward to building websites.
Yeah, I think that one's definitely going to be even though this was good, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's probably like the slower one of all of the ones that we'll be doing. And I'll make sure like before every hour. If they're one, there's going to be like an update and a video for most of them. That is my goal. If not, there will be clear instructions with a link to a gamma file or something to say, hey, you need to download this or have that ready. Like maybe, for example, like if some of the voice platforms, if you guys join some of those builds, definitely going to have some instructions to have some things already set up or accounts already just made so people don't have to go through that process. But like the problem that Bliss went through earlier, I'm kind of glad we get to see things like that because those are going to be like kind of super common with using Claude Code and downloading different things and stuff like that.
So
I
anything
have,
ahead of tomorrow? I mean, I'll set up the basic subscription with Claude, which is what, the $20 a month,
Yeah.
and so that I can follow along tomorrow. Anything else ahead of tomorrow's session?
Not that I could think of because most of the other things personally we're already like, Steven's community, so you probably already have most of it like Airtable and some other small stuff. Any other platform, I will have like a coupon code or something for you guys to get credit so you don't have to pay and stuff like that. Or they already come with credit so you guys don't have to pay and do stuff like that. So for example, like the website one with for sale or Netlify, like you don't need to have any, pay for anything for any of that. That was like completely free. Gamma, if you don't have a Gamma account, I think I'm getting a coupon code for like a free month trial or something like that and different things to play around with the tools.
All right,
Appreciate
sounds
it.
good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Got you. No problem. Adam, pleasure. Bliss, if you're still, oh, Bliss is not here. That's his note taker. Yeah, so I will more than likely have this sent to you guys today, like as soon as this is done recording. Or like I said, there will be a link with a notification where this will just be live and open. And more than likely it's probably going to be live on YouTube just to go back to and watch because I plan on putting all these 30 days out there live.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have the rest of your day. I hope you guys have some fun with brainstorming, and then hopefully we can use some of what's here for later builds and stuff that, I have planned later.
All right, man. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Appreciate it.